Warning, this podcast, website, and associated social media accounts are intended for audiences of legal drinking age. We do not advocate overconsumption or the abuse of alcohol. Never drink and drive, drink responsibly. And please remember to always take what we say with a grain of salt. After all, we are just some dudes with some brews.
We started out by crawling out from under the thumb of the man. The lovers of God with dad bods just trying to feed our fam. Go sit right there and grab a beer, you know just what to do. Throw it back, get hammered, and listen to Dudes Brews. All right, man, so we had that interview with Ed a couple weeks ago, so I figured that we would watch it and talk about it or whatnot. But before we do so, let's crack open a beer. And let's do the homemade beer. Let's do the Larry's Wife's Gingerbread Stout. I'm assuming that you've had it in the fridge for a while. I hope it's on ice and cold.
For about 5 hours. So
okay,
let's hope little Betty over here did her job. First of all, I think we got to call out your hand gesture like that because now I have actually seen you do it a few times and I've never commented on it before.
This?
Brilliant. Yep.
I do this hand gesture all the time. I guess I don't realize I do it.
I guess I've only seen it from you.
I don't know.
All right.
I am weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was weird.
All right, so this is the first time I've used these bottles, the swing top. Normally we do like the regular old crimp bottles. Hopefully, this sealed correctly and it's carbonated.
Well, and are we going to hear that?
You
whenever
should.
we open it?
You should.
All right. So then let's get really quiet. I'm gonna put the microphone on it. Here we go. Ooh, bro, I don't even think that needed the microphone. That was popping like champagne over here.
Remember, there's gonna be a little trube at the bottom, so
nice.
Don't want to pour the whole thing in there, but.
Yeah.
I'm like, so from the get-go, I've got to say, it looks like a beer. I mean, I don't know. It's just, looks like a stout.
It's a good sign that it looks like a beer to start out with, so that's always a good start.
Well, because you've always been a little, I wouldn't say negative, but you've always been a little, like you question homebrews. Like you think homebrews taste funky.
Well, so I guess let's go ahead and say it. I've been negative.
Well, I wasn't going to try to say that, but it's not really negativity per se.
So I don't think it's all homebrews, but what's weird is it's like the last 4 or 5 homebrews that we've made have all had a similar homebrew
taste.
Not
only done like 4 or 5 homebrews?
No, dude, think about it. We've done quite a bit.
I mean, we did a bunch of those 1 gallon.
We did 1 gallon before we even had the 5 gallon set up, and then we've done several 5 gallons.
Right.
So maybe 5, but I don't know. I just feel like they all kind of have that same similar
that signature homebrew taste or whatever.
It smells like it. It's awkwardly quiet.
No, it's all right. So personally, I like it. I think it tastes great. It's got the molasses you can taste really heavy.
Yeah.
You don't get too many of those spices. You get a little bit of them up front, but not throughout, which I'm a little disappointed in. But yeah, I think it's a good stout. I don't think it's bad. I think it's great.
I think it's good too. Here's the thing. I still taste that homebrew. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Is it the water? I don't get it. It's
So I wonder, because you've said this before about other breweries where you said 903 tastes distinctly not 903.
For sure they do.
So maybe this is just distinctly Dudes and Brews.
It's that Dudes and Brews taste. Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean,
I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there because I've heard you say it about 903, and I think you've said it about somebody else too. We were like, oh yeah, I can just tell what this is. Just
yeah, several breweries. Not bad though.
They all have their distinct. So I will say this is probably the best one that we've done, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I can say we, even though I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I did help you keg it though, so maybe I did do part of it.
Yeah.
Like I can still say I was part of the crew, even though I wasn't
100%
one of the brewmasters.
Yeah, you were there in spirit.
And spirit. Dude, but props on putting them in these bottles, though. That worked really good.
Yeah, and don't have to do all the crap with the crimping and finding the right bottles, and then sanitizing all the little pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
and not hulking out. You know, remember how I busted some of them just by like,
yeah. Well, dude, that's because we didn't realize you have to buy the right bottles with like the bigger lip on it. If you get them with the too small of a lip, the crimper doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we figured that out after too many flat beers.
Yep. Too many bustings.
But so we do have this one available on Untapped. So what are we ranking this one?
Let me get a second to just feel it. I just gotta feel it, man. I gotta feel it in my shoulders.
We got one beer, and for I'm gonna read this again. I know you read this last time when we were looking at labels, but I want to read this again.
Okay.
So just in time for the holidays, we have the Larry's Wife's Gingerbread Stout. We marinated traditional gingerbread spices in vodka to give it that signature gingerbread taste we all know and love. Curl up next to the fire and crack open one of these bad boys for that signature holiday taste we've all been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Props. It's got my name in the title, so.
Yeah.
Even though it's about my wife, it's still Larry's wife.
So, yeah, this one is available on Untapped. So, scale of 1 to 5. What are you thinking here? I mean, I'm thinking it's pretty good. I'm thinking like a 3.5, maybe a 3.75. Nah, I'm gonna say a 3.5.
I'm gonna go to 2.5.
2.5. So it's just average for you.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not
blowing your hair back.
Not blowing my hair back.
Okay.
Especially for a stout. It's
I mean this one's only coming in at 7%, so it's not like as high as some of the other stouts that you prefer to drink, but
yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna meet in the middle at a 3. So
nice.
Everybody make sure to follow us online at on Untapped at _Dudes and Brews. But yeah. I didn't think that this was bad. I can't wait to brew the next one. I need to go buy some bourbon so we can do a bourbon porter. I've got everything else at home. So, yeah, maybe we could do that in the next couple of weeks.
We need to get one of them barrels and age it for a year. Get rid of that homebrew taste.
I don't know. Like, do I want to wait a year after I brew a beer? I mean, I already have to wait like 6 weeks after I brew it, and I feel like that's long enough. Do I really want to wait a year? I mean, if we do some brewing back-to-back, like back-to-back weeks, I wouldn't mind, because then who cares? I have another beer will be ready sooner. So maybe we might be able to do a couple. I mean, I've got a couple of recipes in the book at home that I kind of want to check out.
Maybe even if we can get one of the smaller barrels, if that's a thing.
I'm sure there are, just like kegs. I'm sure you can get like a 5-gallon barrel. Because I mean, I don't know how big a normal barrel is. I'm assuming it's as big as a keg, which is 15 gallons, and I'm not brewing 15 gallons.
Yeah, no.
I don't have the system for that. We tried doing 10, and you know how long that took.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we did that here in the rainstorm.
Yeah. Wasn't that beer the perfect storm? Wasn't that what we
like
called
that?
it?
Yeah, it was. I think it was that red ale, wasn't it? It was that one that you ended up kegging, whatever it was.
I kegged the red ale.
Okay, yeah. Then yeah, it was that red ale.
Yeah, that was great.
Looking back, I wonder why we even did a red ale. I'm not even a big fan of a red ale.
I thought I was at the time. And then I remember I thought I was a red ale fan, and then we made that, and I thought the beer wasn't good. And then I ordered red ales afterwards, and they taste just like that. And I was like, maybe red ale's not good. Not the homebrew, it's the red ale. Yeah.
You just don't like a red ale. And you know
just
what?
Don't.
I get it. I'm right there with you. It's like red ales and like light beers, some blondes.
Mm-hmm.
They have like this weird taste to them at the front and this weird smell.
Yeah.
That just when I smell it, I go, whoop, my taste buds already don't like it before I even try it. And I don't know what it is. It's something weird. I wonder if it's like the light malt they use or something. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe if you get COVID, you drink it during COVID and it'll heal your senses.
And I might enjoy it then.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know. But anyway, so this one we gave a 3. Not bad. Not bad for a home brew. We'll see if we continue to improve throughout the years. But let's go ahead and get into this interview. So today we actually have my brother, Edward Escobedo, former professional boxer. Wanted to bring him in, wanted to get a little bit of his story. So what I want to do is I want to kind of start from the beginning and kind of work our way to today. Okay. So from what I understand, You've been boxing since how old? 12?
My first tournament was I was 11.
When you were 11.
Yeah.
And what got you started into boxing? What wanted you to get into the ring?
What happened was when I was like 7 or 8 years old, Dad took me to the Golden Gloves in Lubbock because we used to live up there in West Texas. And he particularly went to go watch a guy named Robin Blake. I didn't know at the time, but it was a kid from, I live in a small town of maybe 1,000 people, and McAdoo had maybe 400 people. And there was this kid named Robin Blake that was like real big deal. So we went to go watch the fights, and I'm watching them, and Dad looks at me and goes, "You think you could do that?" And, I'm 7 or 8, and Dad asked me, like, "Yeah, sure." So that kind of got him, like, hyped up. So we got back next day. He bought some boxing gloves, and he started showing me what he knew, which really wasn't much, but, he loved boxing. So we got gloves on, and he started working with me a little bit, and I started sparring with cousins that were bigger than me, older than me, because I was a big kid. And, well, a couple bloody noses here and there. Hey, I'm pretty good. So, and then we moved this way. But that's how it all got started. So it was just, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so just watching that fight got you started into wanting to like train and stuff, but what got you to actually wanting to fight?
Well, when we moved up here, and my dad asked me again, he goes, because now we had a boys club here, and that was a big deal. He said, "We got a boys club, they got a boxing team, so you think you want to do it?" And I was like, "Sure," but it's like anything else, Dad. If you start it, you can't stop until whatever the thing's over, the season over or whatever. And that's how we got started. We came up here to the boys club, and there was a guy named Barney Flores at the time. He was the main guy that was the trainer. He still trains now, but I mean even back then. And we started training with him and everything. And him and the director of the boys club got into a big old tiff, and all of a sudden he's gone. Barney's gone, and he's pissed and everything else. And we're kind of like, well, what the hell are we gonna do? And my dad just kind of waited out, and they had to brought this other guy in there. So that's how it worked out. We kind of started with like that at the boys club. I really wasn't like, I liked boxing, but it was at the same time, it was just, my dad loved it, Right. So I kind of like, okay. And then, the sparring was the worst because I was 10, 11 years old, but I was big. I was like 112 pounds. So I had to spar guys that were like 12 or 13 because there was no 112-pound 11-year-olds, So I was sparring bigger kids that were stronger, and every day I'm crying and stuff because nobody wants to get hit. But I kept going back, and I kept coming back. So that's how we got started in boxing. It just kind of, and then after a while, it got to the point where I wanted to go because now I'm starting to try to pick up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then it didn't get good for me as far as like really liking boxing until I got with Cookie, who was a trainer from Frisco, and the boys club got him to come down here because they didn't have anybody that was really worth a dang. Because the guy that was training us was, he just knew the basic stuff, almost a little bit more than my dad, which ain't much, But
yeah.
And then we got Cookie back here, and he was awesome. I mean, that dude was, he was like my hero. I didn't know at the time how old he was. I just knew that he knew what he was doing. He had all his nephews were freaking awesome. I mean, damn. I mean, he had a team of all his nephews, and every time they go somewhere, they won team trophy because that's how good they were. So, and he came down here, and he started training me, and that's when I actually started picking up and really learning stuff. Except he had one nephew who was an asshole. Because he was, when at 13, I was 130 pounds. And like I said, I was still young, but I was sparring the guys that were 15 to 16, and that's a big difference when you're 13 years old.
Oh, for sure.
And this dude was about 16 years old, but he was like a damn man. His name was Uva, which is mean great, anyway. And we were sparring, and it's the only time this dude hit me in the top of the head, like just bam, and I was like, hell no. I mean, I was crying. I was like, For 2 days, I didn't go work out. I kept telling my mom, I got a headache. I didn't want to go. And my mom sat me down. She goes, look, I know you probably don't want to go, because of what happened last time, but you can't let that stop you. She goes, if you're going to quit, you quit at the end of the year, but you can't just stop right here because it's not going to do you no good. You're going to get used to quitting, and we're not going to have that. I'm like, damn, all right. So I go back to training, and this is how good Cookie was. He knew that I was already kind of skittish about fucking Uva just, blast him on top of the head. 16-year-old sorry ass. So he put me in with Ricky Ledesma, another one of his nephews. And he said, just work with him. We're just going to work. And I got in there, and Ricky was awesome. he fought weird. His front foot was all sideways. I don't know how he did it, but anyway. But he gave me, my confidence back.
Okay.
So that was a big deal because, I was already like, man, I'm just going to get done with this because but working with Ricky, like I said, he let me, work myself back into having the confidence. Because if you ain't got confidence boxing, you ain't going to be boxing.
Right.
Because it's too dangerous to be up there trying to figure out what you're doing and then you're already thinking about how to get out of it. That's just going to wind up getting hurt. So, yeah, Cookie was a big influence in my boxing.
And when did he come in? How old were you?
I was 12 years old.
12? Mm-hmm. And at this time, you're just training and sparring. You're not actually doing tournaments.
Yeah,
and stuff yet?
I did a tournament before he got there, and when I was 11, my first tournament, and I think it was I believe it was Oak Cliff. I boxed this kid from Turnkey Boxing Gym, and we were 11 years old. I was 112 pounds. He was about the same thing, but he was a little short, pudgy guy.
Okay.
And never been in the ring. It's a weird feeling when you get up there, because like, wow, everybody's watching. And back then, people would go to the amateur boxing stuff.
Right.
And the first round comes up, and we just going, and he's just, waylaying, just trying to get back at him. It's a minute round, but when you're going a minute, when at 11 years old, that's a long ass time.
Yeah.
He just like, especially when you're getting hit, like, oh, please, bell, ring, something. Second round came around, and hit him with the right hand. I knocked him out. 11 years old, he's out cold. Okay. Everybody's excited at first, like, yeah. I'm like, wow, what the hell just happened? He's on the ground, and I'm like excited, and my mom was broke out in hives before I got in the fight because first time she's gonna see her son fight.
Right.
And then it's over. She gives me a big old hug, and she looks in the ring, and the kid's still laying down. And now she's upset with me because she's like, look what you did. Me gonna look. I'm like, Mom, he was hitting me, Mom. What am I supposed to do? But go see if he's okay. I said, well, I can't, because there was people around.
Yeah.
And finally, so he got up, and everything was cool. But after that, I couldn't get a fight, because, the kids seen me. They're like, well, hell no. He just knocked that kid out. So I'm 11 years old, one fight, and I go to like 3 different tournaments, and I don't get a fight. They unoppose me or somebody weighs in and said, no, we don't want. And they're like, and one coach told my coach that, well, he should be open. And he's had one fight. That's the only fight he's had. The one time y'all seen him. So that went on for about like 3 or 4 tournaments, and by that time I turned 12 years old, and I started working with Cookie. And Cookie said, "Well, you got to turn open."
So what does that mean specifically? There's 2 different rankings.
There's categories. Well, back then there was 2 categories: there's open and novice, but there's different ages. Like I was in the category of what was it? 11 and 12. That was the category, but it was open and novice. If you're open, that means that you're good. You've been having experience, and you get them badass fighters. I had one fight.
Yeah.
But Cookie said, look, you're going to have to turn open because nobody wants to fight you. And I was like, oh, man, I want to have one fight. He said, well, what are you going to do? You going to keep on going to tournaments? I'm like, all right. So, I turned, 12 years old. And that was, what is it? Yeah. Categories were 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12 and 13. So it was 10, 11, and 12 and 13. So I turned open, because I couldn't get a fight. And from that point on, I got more fights. I was always bigger than most kids, so I didn't get as many fights as other men. I had cousins and his nephews. They fought every time, like 2 or 3 times in a tournament. I'd get lucky if I fought once,
right? Because
I was a big kid, and that sucked, But it was awesome to see. I got a cousin that from here that he fought, he'd been fighting longer than I was, and every time he got in a fight, it was like the mass of just chingazos everywhere, just fighting, everywhere, just throwing. And he get mad at me because when I was fought, I would just throw like a couple punches here and there because I was just efficient with my shots.
Yeah,
I haven't had power, So, and then boom, somebody else will fall, and then somebody else will fall, and he's like, man, that sucks, man. So why? I got to be throwing all this. I said, dude, it ain't my fault. I go, hey, he goes, I just hit hard. And he goes, well, how you do that? I said, I don't know. I didn't know. I'm like, I don't know. That's just what happened. But yeah, Cookie was the reason that I got better at boxing.
Okay.
Because I was, like I say, when you first come up, all you do, you learn your jab, your 1-2s, you just try to get in there and keep your hands up, keep your fucking hands up, and try to hit him more than he hits you. And Cookie's the one that kind of, like I said, he gave me more confidence than anything else, and it just kind of, it worked from there. And every time it was cool, because every time we would go to a tournament, like say he had 5 nephews, I think it was 3 brothers, it was Richard, Joe, and Tony. And then it was Ricky, Renee, Jody, and fucking Uva. So he had seven nephews. He had 7 nephews that were in the boxing, that he trained. 7 nephews. That's a lot of fucking kids. But
right.
And then it was me, Mo, and Lewis. They were McKinney.
Okay.
So we'd go into it, which is always just a badass feeling when you go into a tournament and everybody starts watching you. You see what I'm saying? We walk into the gym, and it's like, oh, there they go. There they go. There's some Frisco boys. Because that's where he trained, was in Frisco. Because now he stopped coming here, so we started going to Frisco. And he would pick us up, which is freaking awesome. And back then, there wasn't no 121. It was just that one street, that one main street that goes from McKinney to Frisco, and that road sucks.
Yeah, stoplights every 5 minutes.
Everything. But he would drive after work, pick us up, take us to go train, and bring us back. See, and at the time, you're just a kid, you don't think how much that really means, but shit, that took a lot for that man to do that.
Right.
We would train at his mom's cantina, which is his bar, his mom's bar. He lived right here, and her mom had a bar in the front with pool tables and stuff. Mm-hmm. She sell beer and stuff, which she ain't supposed to because, they ain't no beer. It's all illegal, But there would be pool tables here, and then right in the back corner, that's where we would train. We had 2 bags, and he would work the hands. He didn't have mitts, but he did the hands, and that's where we would train. It was like a freaking awesome thing because we're going to training. We see all these grown-ass men drinking and stuff, playing pool, and we're in the back, hitting the bag. And he didn't have a stopwatch, and so every time there was Def Leppard. He'd always play Def Leppard, the Pyromania, the first album. That's '84, I think, and play the songs, and we'd go by song, and songs were like 3 minutes or 3.5. So said, "Bam, go!" Like damn. So we hit Rock of Age because you hear all the damn songs over and over and over again, and it's a stop, and then we go again. So to this day, every time I hear a Def Leppard song, I think of him because that's every time he played it. That's just what it was. But that's what we trained. But it was awesome because every time we go somewhere, you look around, everybody's just watching you. Just watching you. It's a hell of a feeling when you're 12, 13 years old that these people are like, oh man, you gotta watch them, gotta watch them.
Right.
So how'd the matching go? Like you get there to be in a tournament, and then they get to choose who their opponent is.
What it is, when you go weigh in, everybody has their different weight classes, and then they have the age divisions. So that's how they broke it down. So everybody come from like Oak Cliff, Fort Worth, usually Dallas. Fort Worth had their own side. They would all come into different clubs and stuff, weigh in. And then they will break it down as in matches of who matched up with who, the ages and everything. Most guys fought each other 3, 4, 5 times because that's how they were. That's how they lined up. And there was some badass fights because you knew this guy was good. You knew this guy was good. And you're like, oh, damn, it's going to be good. That didn't happen with me very often because I didn't have that many guys in my weight division because I was just that much bigger. And I wasn't old enough to fight the older kids yet. So when I'm 13 years old at 139 pounds, that's a big-ass kid in 1984.
Yeah.
So every once in a while I get a fight, So when they see me fight, they were like, I was already known as a guy who can hurt people. And so it was like, oh, man, he's watching, he's going to knock somebody out. Which, you don't know that, but that's the people they're watching for that. And a lot of times I did, But that's what it was. It was just, what sucked about being a big kid is you always last, Unless there was a tournament with a bunch of different people, if you're always the last one, you're just sitting there like, just waiting, and you look at the fight, and oh man, they did pretty good. Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah. Your cousin wins. Oh, that's cool. Something else happens, and then you're just waiting. And finally, oh, you get ready. I'm like, damn, my hands are all asleep and stuff because you're just standing there waiting. So now you get in the ring, and and like I said, back then when you go to a tournament, a lot of people watch the tournaments. Now it's it's not the same.
Yeah.
And now, but back then it's like, and if they know you, they're ready to see you.
Right.
So you go in there, and it's like, And I've told everybody, I said, there's no feeling on this earth more than when you get in that ring and it's just you and that guy and that's it. And, everybody's watching you, You don't have to be an egomaniac to understand that this is, they came for y'all, you know what I'm saying? And whatever happens right here is going to show if they're going to come back for you. That's why fighters come back. It's not because of money. It's because of that feeling because you can't get that anywhere else. And then when you start doing it, it's like, okay, and because I was always a quiet kid. I didn't, I wasn't loud. I didn't, wasn't boastful or nothing like that. I didn't talk shit to people, like my cousins and they always, they were loud and stuff, and that just wasn't me, So when I get in the ring, that's when I was able to perform and I would do what I do, and then everybody would be like, oh man, that was great, whatever, But I think that's why I started boxing, because when I was real little, I was never real little. I was 13 pounds when I was born, so I was a big
little.
I was a big ass kid.
Huge baby. Come on.
Yeah, I was almost 13 pounds, so I wasn't. But I was way bigger than the kids when I was small. I had my growth spurt when I was like 4 or 5. So when I went to kindergarten, I was like a foot taller than all the kids. So my mom was very, very scared that I was gonna hurt somebody. I mean, like literally scared, because she didn't want me to, she didn't want the parents to look at me as different than the kids. So she'd always tell me, just be careful, don't play with the kids too hard, because you're gonna hurt them, So that's all I had in my head, all the time. To this day, you're gonna hurt them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still with me. My mom's gone, but it's still with me because I don't want to hurt nobody. So that was the kind of thing. And when my dad asked me, "Do you want to box?" Oh yeah, well maybe I can. Now I can get some of this stuff out, because
Right.
Yeah.
I have a reason to do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But in life, I'm a very passive person. Just kind of I'm a big dude. People ain't gonna fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? If you do, something wrong with you. I wouldn't fuck with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just, but nobody's gonna push me around. It's just that I'm not looking for stuff. My brothers were, if they heard their name was called out, they're out looking for fights. Or they're like, what the hell for?
Yeah.
It never made sense to me. But that's that biggest reason, because Mom always said, just you're gonna hurt somebody. Don't do nothing that you're gonna regret. And well, shit, that just kind of like, all right,
Do you think boxing helped you stay on that path?
Yeah, because like I said,
not getting
all
into
bit
stuff?
of aggressions you had or anything that was going on,
Yeah.
you throw it all in there, and it's legal. You can go in there and do what you can, and hopefully it works out for you. But like I said, that's how I got into boxing, where it stayed like that. But because I couldn't really play around with people, because Mom was afraid, and I was stronger than most. I didn't know that either, that I was gonna actually hurt somebody. So I'm like, all right, Mom, all right. But she was deathly afraid of people thinking of her son as something more than just a kid. You know what I mean? And that was kind of like, and I'm a kid. I don't care. I just want to be a kid, but I'm just bigger than everybody. I went half a day, half a year for 2 years in school, because that was how much bigger I was, and I was smarter because I was going to school since I was 2 years old. So I went to school for that, and then when by first grade, they actually told my mom, she goes, you can skip a grade, just make him go to third grade. It's like that. He'll be, closer to the size of everything. Mom said, nope, she's gonna get everything out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. She didn't tell me that till later. I was like, come on, Mom, I could have got out. But
You were like a Rottweiler, though.
I was just
Everybody's scared.
Yeah, I was just that, that pit bull in the back of the yard. That as long as I stay back there, I'm good.
So you're 13, 14 years old. You're training in the back of this cantina, in the back of this bar. What happened then? I mean, you eventually were able to get onto the Olympic team. What happened from there to you getting onto the Olympic team?
It was kind of like it was a process. Every year, every time you go to tournaments and stuff, you get to bigger tournaments and stuff like that. As your age grew, you got to fight in bigger tournaments.
Okay.
Because nowadays they got 8-year-olds going to national tournaments. Back then they didn't do that. So when I was 13 was my first shot at going to the regionals. Because it was always local, state, and regional. It's because Texas is so big. Texas is so big, it's its own region. Because that's how they did it. So I went to my first state tournament in Fort Worth at Gorman's Gym, which is a very famous gym back in the day. And Donna Curry and other world champs fought there. But anyway, it was my first chance of going to El Paso for the regionals, and I fought a guy named Tommy Guy. The first time I ever saw somebody that I was scared of before I even got in the ring. This dude looked like a man. We're 13, 14 years old. 12 and 13 years old. He's my age. I swear to God, I asked 3 people, how old is he? He's 13. He had muscles at 13 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, damn. I was just like, okay. And he beat my ass. Every bit of it. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't fall. I wanted to. But even at that pride, my pride wouldn't let me go down. I was all covered up, just like, please, just be down and be done with it. I was beat before I got in the ring because, like I said, I saw him. I was like, oh hell no, this dude is. And I got family lives in Fort Worth. My uncle lives there. So that night, go home to my uncle's house, and I fall asleep all curled up. I swear to God, in the morning, I couldn't undo myself. I was still so tight. I was like, oh my God, I was just because when you're tightened up and you get hit, it makes it worse on your body.
Yeah.
Because everything bruises up faster and everything's a lot more. It's just more intense when you do that. Everybody thinks like you tighten up now. So why you think drunk people don't get hurt and when they get accidents?
Because
they're all loose. Because everything's all loose. So we got done with that tournament, and Cookie kept on saying, "You just didn't pay attention. You wouldn't listen. If you would have listened to me, you would have won." Like, it's already over. Like, all right. We go back to train, and then he tells me 2 days later, he goes, "We're gonna go to Fort Worth and go spar." All right, you're gonna spar Tommy. Like, I looked down like, yeah, but this time pay attention to me. Like, for 2 days, I'm just like, oh man, I don't want. Oh man, he kicked my ass. I don't even want to see this dude. I didn't lose that many times, but everybody who kicked my ass, I remember their names because they kicked your ass, and he was the first one to whoop my ass. Like, damn, I don't want to do this. So and the longest drive is the drive from Frisco to go get your ass kicked in Fort Worth. That's a long drive. That drive's just like, oh my God, come on. We get there and I get excited because actually nobody's there. Like, I don't see hey, they're not here. Hold on. And all of a sudden somebody's like, shit, they drove up. So I'll get ready and everything. And he kept on telling me, just listen to me. Just listen to me. So, okay. Got in the ring. And he told me, he gave me some instructions. He goes, just do what I'm telling you. You'll be fine. 3 rounds later, I beat his ass. I mean, it was a good boxing sparring, but I paid attention. And at that point is when I realized, I just got to listen to my corner. And that's what I would do. And that's how I got further down the line to where, things got better.
Yeah. What
happened at 14, I got to my first national tournament, and I was not excited, but I got beat my first time, The guy named Troy Soto from New York, your boy over there, from New York, his name named Troy Soto. Good fighter, whooped my ass. We was in North Carolina, he beat my ass. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Come Christmas time, my coach and his wife, they spent Christmas with us, at the house. And what's weird is back then they gave out they were making these clocks. They had the clock and then like a little thing inside it, like a flower or whatever. Just like, it was like a present everybody got.
Yeah.
Happened to be my mom and dad gave them one and they gave my mom and dad one. Weird. They both gave each other the same goddamn gift, basically.
Right.
But come January, my coach was murdered.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he was murdered. And on January 26th, I got on my back. And it was weird because that morning what happened was it was a Friday night. We were supposed to go work out in Frisco, but we didn't want to go. So me and my cousin like, man, we didn't want to go work out. Just 14 years old. Let's not go because he would drive all the way to, where Quick Trip is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Off of Highway 5. Okay, That's where he would pick us up. We would run to right there, and he would pick us up. We didn't go. So, but we knew Saturday we were going to go spar in Fort Worth again. So, we'll just go, spar. So, next morning, my cousin Lewis comes running to the house. He's knocking on the door, and I heard him knocking. Like, oh, shit. So I got up because I thought we were going to go train. And I hear him crying and trying to get this stuff out. And then he finally lets it out. He goes, Cookie was shot. Cookie's dead, and you're 14 years old. You're just like, what, it's hard to get that,
Yeah.
And then it comes out that that's what happened. He was basically ambushed at the Piggly Wiggly in Frisco, and he got shot 7 times in the chest. He pushed his daughter down because they didn't see his daughter, and he pushed his daughter down on the floorboard, and they killed him. They didn't see his daughter, and it was all over mistaken identity, but he's the one that got killed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So that was.
So they didn't even know who he was?
They thought it was his brother. See, because what happened was his brother took his car to a place in Dallas and was out there just being a dumbass, just having fun or whatever. And he got to talking to some girl, happened to be the girl was married, and that dude walked up on me. I think homeboy whooped his ass. You know what I'm saying? And then my trainer's brother whooped that dude's ass. So they found out where he was, and he was in my trainer's car.
Yeah.
A little brown Mustang. So when they saw the brown Mustang, and they just right there, and they shot him 7 times with a shotgun. And that was it's still one of the biggest turning points of my life because we went to the funeral and everything. And like I said, all his nephews were basically the team. Yeah. All his fucking nephews. And so we go, and everybody's kind of like, we're still in shock, because he was 23 years old when he passed away. And when you're 14 years old, he's just a grown up.
Right.
But you think about it now, he was only 20. He was only 23 years old, and that's what gets me to the day. I'm like, damn, he was doing all this for us when he didn't have to. He's 23 fucking years old. Why would But he took the time out every day to come and pick us up, take us over there, and bring us back every fucking day. And that still stays with me. That's how much that man wanted us to succeed.
Right.
And so it happened. And everybody just kind of just fell off. They stopped fighting because, and my mom asked me too, and she goes, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know, Mom. It's just kind of, it's a numbing feeling to be there and your trainer's not there no more, your coach, He goes, well, what do you think he would want you to do? He goes, well, he want me to keep fighting because that's what we had planned, And his widow, asked to see me, and she said, I got something for you. I'm like, all right, her name was Tina. So we go to Tina's house in Frisco, and she goes, here. What happened was on Christmas, they got the clocks, back and forth. But we also gave him a pony suit because he always wore warm-ups. Like, he always had that's all he ever wore. He wore jeans one time the whole time I knew him, and we thought we lost our fucking mind. We're like, damn, Cookie, what happened? He goes, what, did you run out of warm-ups? He goes, shut up, man, I got to go to the store. And I'm like, what does that mean? I don't understand what that means. He goes, no, we're going somewhere afterwards. I said, oh, so you got the good shit out. Just a pair of jeans. But, because he always had on just, pull-ups, Adidas, pony, whatever.
Yeah. Tracksuit.
Tracksuit, yeah, and always zipped up right there. He was short, but he was a stocky-ass dude, So my mom and dad bought him a pony suit, same thing, everything. So that night, he was wearing that pony suit, the top. And that's what he got shot in. And she gave it to me, Had the blood stains on it,
Yeah.
In the back and everything. And I still got it. My dad made a frame for it, and I got it with me. But she goes, I want you to have this because the one thing that Cookie always said, he goes, you're going to be his first national champion. And I was like, damn. That was, that meant a lot. Because he had all these badass nephews. I mean, they were fucking awesome. I would just sit there and watch them like, damn. But he said I was going to be the first one. And I said, well, why me? He goes, because you pay attention. He says, these nephews are awesome, but they don't pay attention all the time. They go off and do what they want to do, He said, but you do exactly what he always told you to do. I said, yeah, because it worked. He said, exactly. He said, that's why you're going to be his first national champion. I'm like, damn. So come to find, after a little bit, his brother took over, kind of to help us, get back going. There was Richard and Joe and Tony's dad. There's the one that his name is RG. So we started going and working out there. And that's kind of how I kept on going. And like I said, at 15, I won my first national championship in Michigan. And what's crazy about that is we didn't have any money, because, hell, we broke. So I lived on the east side of McKinney, and my uncle had a little store right there in the corner. So we had a jar up there and put thing up there. Hey, we're trying to send my nephew to his national. He's trying to make go to the tournament stuff. So the hood helped me out, put money in there,
nice.
And that's how I got there. And I won, came back, and it was like, the hood won because we got him there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
awesome.
It was a big thing. And, to this day, I got people who may not know who I am, but they still call me champ, which is an awesome fucking feeling because, I'm still a hood kid from, right there. And we was at the store at Walmart, me and my wife, masked up and everything. And this dude walks up, hey, man, what's up, champ? Just want to say hello, man. You too, man. And just, I'm like, I appreciate it, But It's just one of those things, you see what I'm saying? It's just, that's local love as far as that he still knows me as that dude.
Yeah.
It's been so many years later, but that's how, I'm still remembered as that dude, which is awesome, because You know.
Wow. And how old were you when you?
My first tournament, I was 15. My first national championship when I was 15. I fought, and that was the first time in my history of boxing that I fought twice in a tournament. Because, like I said, I've been so big that I've never had more than one fight. So I was like, damn, I got 2 fights. You know, I was like, okay. And the championship that when I fought, I was 15 years old, 178 pounds. The kid I fought was 6'4". I was 5'10", 5'8", about 5'9". So I was a pretty good size, but I was like, this dude was huge compared to me. But I beat his ass. He didn't want to.
So at these tournaments, are there like recruits? Are there like scouts that come out?
Well, yeah. Well, when at 15, 16, you got the only people that like scouts like you're talking about will be like pro guys. You know. Like,
okay.
They're trying to see what's coming up.
Because you could turn pro at 16.
No. You can in Mexico you can turn pro at 16.
Oh, okay.
But over here you had to be 17. But what they're doing is they unlike like NCAA and all that stuff, you know, if they want to back you, they can back you. It ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? You're still fighting amateur tournaments. But they're the ones that will be looking for you and stuff. But if you go to and it was in Marquette, Michigan, which is an Olympic center up there, you know.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the guys, they know that this is the new crop of people coming up because we're 15 years old, so the new crop's coming up. So they're watching. So like you said, those are the guys like the U.S. boxing team and stuff like that. That's where they start watching. You know, who's doing this. They don't say nothing, but they're watching here and there and here and there. So I keep going. We keep fighting. And then at the age of 18, I go to another national tournament up there in Marquette, Michigan again. And this is crazy because I'm 17 years old. And they sit us all into a room, you know, everybody who's in the tournament. And they tell us that, okay, the people who win here, the people who get first and second, are going to go to a training camp for the Junior World Championships in Puerto Rico. And we're like, okay. And then they say, we're going to go to the longest camp that the U.S. has ever had for a tournament, 21 days. We're like, damn, 3 weeks straight.
Yeah.
In June. And you're 17 years old. You're thinking about the honeys back home. That's basically what, I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying, you're like, damn, that in June, damn. And I swear to God, I'm sitting there like, damn, I want to go to fucking New York, Lake Placid, New York for 3 weeks. Only thing I knew about Lake Placid is that's what they had the 1980 Olympics, the Winter Olympic part. 80, I think it was 80, 84 or something like that. And like, nah, man, like I'm telling myself, and I want to go, I'm like, I want to go, but I'm like, and I keep on thinking, nah, say, shit, and at this time, Barney's back with me, I forget how that happened, but he's the one that went up there with me.
Oh, okay.
And we getting we all match up again, same thing, weigh in and everything, but this time you get to draw who's, what fight you're gonna be, either 1 or 2 or whatever. Because there was 4 guys in my division, so either who you gonna fight? You're gonna fight that guy, this guy, so you put a name and everything. I pick a guy named Derek Banks, like from Detroit. Okay, don't know him. And we get in the ring, and I'm still telling myself, I ain't gonna fuck up my summer. I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna do that. Get in the ring and not being like egotistical. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna let him beat me, just make it good, but let him beat me, And I started going in there, and he started hitting me. And I got my hands up, I'm covered up, and it's just like, damn it, I'm telling myself he's not that good. And I can't let this, some bitch beat me. He's not that good, really, Like, fuck. Second round coming up, sitting down, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, okay, and he's like, come on, like, and I'm like, shit. So I go back out there. I covered up. Like, like I'm just like not gonna do nothing. I said, fuck it. I guess, I cover up and I throw a left hook, and he's gone. I mean, he is.
You're like, what did I do?
He is out completely cold. I mean, I hit him, pop, and he just falls over, and I'm like, okay. They don't even count it at 1. Okay, he's done. And so I win that one. I got to fight this guy named Samson next my next fight. But that day afterwards, there's a guy named Jeremy Williams who was already touted as one of the best light heavyweights in the game. He was 18 years old. He goes, man, you know what you just did? I said, which summer? He goes, up there, what you just do? I said, well, knock that dude out. He said, yeah, but you know who he was? I said, nope. He goes, man, that's Derek Banks. Like, yeah, I know. Who the fuck is that? He said, well, man, he was picked to win the whole thing. I'm like, well, shit, nobody told me. He like, man, you a bad motherfucker. I was like, nah, you know, hey, I got him. And so that's why you say when people saw me, that's when they kind of realized who I was.
Right. Okay.
After I knocked out Derek Banks, because I was like, fuck, I don't know who Derek. I mean, I didn't follow it like that, like that. And he's like, man, that's Derek Banks. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And he told me. So I'm like, okay. And what's weird is the next fight is a guy named Samson Pua from Utah, big ass Tongan son bitch. He saw me fight the night before. He saw me knock out that dude. But he told me this later. But we got in the ring. They disqualified him because he was kind of like wrestling with me. I'm like, damn, what the hell? And he told me, he goes, dude, I seen you knock out Derek. He said, I've only been fighting for 2 years. He goes, I'll be goddamn if I was going to let you just knock me out. I go, well, damn, dude, you're wrestling. He goes, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to get in the ring and try to get done. So we could, because he made it to the things. Also, we both went to the camp. So that's how we got, we became good friends and shit. After we beat the shit out of each other in L.A., but I'll tell you that later. So we go to the camp and in Lake Placid, and oh my God, that's about the worst fucking place I've ever been. We're there for 21 days, and I'm thinking of Lake Placid of being the Olympic Center where the Winter Olympics were. I thought it was a big place. Hell no. Only thing that was big was the lake where they skated on.
Oh, really? Oh,
it was nothing in Lake Placid, and they were training in the up in the woods. Still don't know how we got up there. The 2 buses, and they take us into the woods in this big ass shed. We train and bring us back, and we have all these people in, I think, 3 rooms. There's 36 of us in 3 rooms.
Wow, 36.
Yeah, well, 24 of us. It was 24 fires. The first and second place got there, so that's where we went.
Dang.
And we had this dude from Worcester, Mass, named Bobby something. He was Puerto Rican. He had the weirdest fucking habit when he went to bed. He would rock, literally rock, back and forth, back and forth. Everybody just stopped watching like, what the fuck is wrong with that kid? He says, man, it's only I can fall asleep. I said, well, we supposed to do while you're doing that shit. Every fucking night he'd do that. He's like,
so he would like flip from one side to the other.
He laid like this. He laid on like this, and he just turned back, like that, just rocked back and forth.
Oh,
so weird.
And he was on the top bunk of this one dude. That dude be on him, man, you better not fucking fall, like. And he wind up falling asleep. Coolest thing that happened in Puerto Rico, because we got to the tournament, we're going. It's a junior world championship, so everybody's there. Russia, Germany, everybody's there. So it's not really cool, kind of weird. We go to a meet and greet, because we start pins and gloves. We just, give them different countries and stuff. This big ass Russian comes to me, and the guy talks to him. He said, "Hey, he's looking for some trunks, because he doesn't have any trunks." Mm-hmm. And I have my silver and blue ones from the Golden Gloves in Dallas, and I took them with me. I really don't know why. And I said, I got some trunks. So he gave me some, I gave him my trunks, and he gave me like some little Soviet pins or something like that, just put on your, I'm like, cool, there we go. So he got some trunks and everything like that. And we're there, we weighed in. There was only 4 super heavyweights. I was super heavyweight by now. There was 2, which is anybody over 200 pounds. I've been over 200 pounds since I was 17 years old, so boom. And this tournament's 2 weeks long, 2-week long tournament. And when we got to Puerto Rico, they literally put all 12 of us, all 24 of us, in 2 rooms, like smaller than where we're at right now. And they had bunk beds, stacked.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And we're like, oh hell no! What the fuck are we supposed to do here?
With the guys that you're gonna be fighting?
No, just the U.S. boxing team.
Okay.
But it was 24 of us, because usually they only take 12, but they took 24. We're like, the hell is this? So. I mean, we're stacked. Oh, no, actually, you're right. It was only 12 of us, but it was just a small room like this with bunk beds, 3 up.
Yeah.
And the president of U.S. Boxing showed up, and we're like, this is, he looked around. His name was Billy Dove. He just looked around. He said, y'all coming with us. I'm like, damn, what the hell? I thought we were going to get knocked out of the tournament because, it just wasn't good. No, he took us to a 4-star hotel on the beach.
Nice.
Called La Condora. Right on the beach in Puerto Rico. We're like, oh, shit. This is U.S. shit
go.
right here.
Right.
This is U.S. team shit right here, you know.
Yeah.
So we're like all hyped up and everybody's all excited. And like I said, I'm 17, almost 18. And everybody on the team, I was the only one who could speak Spanish. So all these other dudes, like, all these beautiful women come around like, y'all can't talk shit. I said, I can. They're like, man, that's fucked up. I'm like, hey. Like that Puerto Rican dude from Worcester, Mass, couldn't speak Spanish. I said, we're in your home country. You can't even say nothing to him.
Right.
And we had, I had a good time, which I shouldn't have, but you're on the beach, man. You know what you're supposed to do. Anyway, there was a guy named Derek James, one of my teammates, and right now he's got 2 world champions. He's a trainer right now. He's got 2 world champions, and he was with me. He was the heavyweight at that time, and this girl walks up to him, and he's from Dallas. Me and him known each other since we were like 12 years old. And this girl walks up to him and starts talking to him. He's like, hey, man, what's she saying? And she said, I go, man, she just said you were beautiful. And there he goes, I ain't never heard no woman call me beautiful, man. I said, I ain't never heard it either, man. So, he went off and whatever. He's like, but it was just.
Did she really say that?
She did.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She goes, because she looked at him and she goes, este hombre está muy hermoso. I was like, damn. I was like, I looked at him, I like, I guess, but. And I told him, he looked at me and go, man, ain't nobody ever called me that. I said, shit, ain't nobody called me that either. I said, I really get handsome out of somebody. This I call you beautiful. So, I finally get, it's the night for me to fight. And I'm fighting that Russian. And he's fighting me with my goddamn gloves, my trunks on.
Oh, wow.
And he beats me. He kicks my ass. They stop it after the second round. He was big. He was way bigger than I was. He had a weird style. Russians are really, really tough, like there's a different kind of toughness that they have. I fought 5 Russians, I only beat 1, so that's how. Then he would fight like this. This is how he had his guard, and he was so much bigger. I mean, you couldn't. There's nothing, just like damn. And I kept on looking at my trunks, and he's kicking my ass in my trunks.
That's all you could see.
And I couldn't. I was trying, and I finally hit him. I finally got him a good shot. In the second round, I finally got him a good shot, but at the time, the national coach looked at it, he said, man, just let us. So he stopped it after the second round, named Pat Nappy. And that dude, Pat Nappy, was, like I said, he was the head of the U.S. boxing thing. So in 1990 was my first shot at the U.S. championships, the big one. This is the main one. And crazy thing is, they get me up there again. So this is Colorado Springs. This is the biggest fight, and weigh in everything. And they said, okay, it's a 5-day tournament. It starts on I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I didn't have to fight the first night. And they said, okay. He said, you'll fight the next day. So me and a bunch of guys said, well, let's go bowling or something. And I'm guessing I was really, really nervous about what's going to happen. So we're walking across the street to get to the bus, just walking. I take a deep breath and my back locks up, the top of my back. It's like, oh, it hurts, like bad. My dad's on his way up. He drove up. He took a bus from here to Colorado Springs, which is almost a day worth of time.
Yeah, especially on a bus.
Yeah, and I would go to go bowling. I can't move. My back is locked up, and we go back to the thing. And they're like, hey, man, Ed was fucked up. His back, and my dad shows up, and that's when he shows up, and they tell him that I don't know if I'm gonna be able to fight because my back's all locked up. And I'm guessing now that all it was nerves, but at the time, I couldn't do this, and without it just hurt. Every time I do this, it felt like someone was pushing in my chest. Like, damn. So this guy was rubbing me, and all that day, all that that night. The next morning we had to go do a physical and weigh in again. At tournaments you got to weigh in every day. Mm-hmm. And we had to do the physical, and I was like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna pass the physical because they got to give you different tests to make sure everything's good. I said, well, shit, I gotta try. I'm not coming way up here for nothing.
Right.
We go to the thing and everything. We're doing the physical and everything, and I see the part where up a little bit where they got the guys' hands up, and they push down to make sure you can, hold them up. I was like, oh, that's gonna feel like shit, because that's all your back.
Yeah.
So I get up there and I do everything else, and it's all right. Put your hands up. Like, all right, I put my hands up, and he's behind me, which is good. Cause he says, "Okay, you ready?" Yeah, and he does it. Oh, and then almost a tear comes out because I'm just kind of like, okay, and he goes, "Okay, good." He goes, "Go ahead," and he didn't go in front of me, so he just, "Okay, go ahead." And had he seen me, he would have said, "Nope, can't fight." But got done, weighed in, everything's good. I got my back worked on a little bit more, and I fought this guy from St. Louis, my first fight. And as soon as I got in the ring, bell rang, and everybody's worrying about my back because everybody knows on the Texas team that his back's fucked up.
Right.
But as soon as I got in the ring and it started moving, I took a step back and I was like, oh, it's on. It had to have been nerves because there's nothing else reason for me to be in pain. I just think it was good. Mm-hmm. And I stopped the guy in the first round. Next day, I fought a guy from Hawaii, big ass dude, 290 pounds. Not as tall. He was like 6 foot. And he came in like a madman, just throwing. He got tired in about 30 seconds. Hit him out 2 or 3 times. They put in the paper he did the hula dance because he kind of like started stumbling. So they stopped that one. They stopped it. So I had my two first fights were 2 rounds. That was it. They were done. So now everybody's watching me.
Right.
Like, oh, hey, this dude from Texas. They kind of knew who I was because what happened with Derek Banks. But now they're kind of like, oh, shit, he's still doing it. But the national coach, Pat Nappy, didn't like it because he was looking at it like, but he's not showing me any boxing skills. He just showing me he can knock people out. I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I'm not trying to knock these people out. They just, it happens. So I fought this guy in the next fight. I fought a guy from Colorado Springs. He worked for the city. He'd been trying forever to win a U.S. championship. He had a weird style. He fought with his head cocked like this, okay? Mm-hmm. Which for the first 2 rounds just threw me out. He like this the whole time. Like, the hell? I don't see how you can see, fighting. So we're fighting. My dad's in my corner, and every round he's like, what are you doing? Throw the overhand right. Throw the overhand right. And first round goes, second round goes, and third round goes. You got to hit him with that overhand right. He goes, you hit him, it's over. You hit him, it's over. And he's like this, which is basically like, here, hit me. That's what he's doing.
Right.
So I get up there, I catch him, boom. And all of a sudden he starts, I don't think he was hurt that bad, but they seen the 2 previous fights I've had, they stopped it. He was pissed. He was pissed. Hell no, why you stop? But he did kind of stumble. I would have hurt him. I think I would have, had it gone a little bit further, I would have hurt him because he wasn't going to get an 8 count and be better. But they stopped it and they showed in the paper, his last chance. He's going to give it up. Like, damn, that's cold. But what are you going to do? It's boxing. So now I'm in the finals in 1990. And everything we did was at the gym right there in Colorado Springs at the Limit Trainers. But you go to the finals, they go to the Broadmoor, big badass hotel, ice rink. They covered it up, and that's where we're going to fight. So the day before, they put everybody up. That's going to be in the finals because it's a televised event. So some people are going to be on there. They're just kind of telling you what's going to happen. And that's the first time I saw Oscar De La Hoya.
We appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode of Dudes and Brews. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever platform you're on, we're on there. We have a YouTube channel, Dudes and Brews. We would love if you would subscribe there as well. If you are subscribed and you want to help us out just a little more, unsubscribe and resubscribe again. It sounds funny and stupid and kind of obnoxious, all of the subscribing and resubscribing and stuff, but it helps in these little algorithms games for like climbing the charts, because again, we are organic and we are where we are because of you guys.
Yeah, we really do appreciate your support. Shout us out. We really do love it when you guys interact with us, when you add us, mention us, put us on your stories, tag us, all that fun stuff, all the stuff the kids are doing. We like grabbing that stuff and we put it up for you guys. So we appreciate you so much. Keep having fun, drinking them brews, hanging with them dudes. Tune in next week for another episode of Dudes and Brews.